Hey yo, welcome back to another episode of the ArtsBlock podcast. I am your host, Eric Curry III, and today we got a couple on the podcast. This is a nice little relationship goal special of the podcast. We have the couple, right? If you went to Duke Ellington School of the Arts, so this is the couple. This is the couple. So they really don't need no introduction. Y'all know them, y'all love them. Give it up for Karma and Rob. Give it up. Big applause. How are y'all doing today? How are y'all doing?
We doing good. I mean,
yeah, it's my first time seeing each other in like
a couple months, like maybe like
2 months.
Yeah, maybe 2. But we good. We both fully vaccinated, so
that's
a good thing. But we doing good considering what's going on.
Yeah,
we definitely doing good considering what's going on.
That's good. So we're just gonna jump straight into it. Look, so being a part of the theater department, right? Mm-hmm. One of the first rules they tell you is to not date inside your department. Y'all broke that whole rule, like the whole rule. Y'all just broke it. So what? I'm gonna rob your face. So what? Why? What happened? What's the chemistry that went on where I was just like, we got to make this official?
I think we didn't. I don't think we didn't. Number one, I don't think, and she can, I guess, interject if she doesn't believe what I'm saying. No, I don't think we planned on being a couple in the first place. So it was one of them things that just happened. Like we were great friends at first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then it kind of happened. Like it wasn't nothing that we talked about. Mm-hmm. Wasn't really something that I was like, hey, I'm feeling you. No, it wasn't really like that. I think it was just something that over time, once we became friends, you find that some things just naturally progress. And then it happens the way it happens.
And like furthermore, I joined when I was I came to Duke as a sophomore. So I was a first year sophomore and I was with my first year ensemble. So Robert was there since freshman year. So he was already in the ensemble ahead of me that I would eventually join, but I hadn't quite yet. Right. We were doing our Shakespeare project and we did Richard III at the Folger Theater. And we started we would like ride the train home and like just talk or whatever. Oh. And like eventually we were working together on marketing for the spring show, which was Rhymers and Eldritch at the time.
Yep.
And that's when we really started like becoming like friends. Like
because we started being around each other so much more.
Yeah.
Way more.
Like when you got a crush and you just naturally be like, you go and talk to them for a little bit and then you walk away and you just like, okay, we'll go talk to them again. It was just like fun. Yeah. I don't know. It just was really like, I don't know. I don't even think we were thinking about the ensembles or the department or nothing like that. We were just friends.
Mm-hmm. And then it just happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. It wasn't nothing like planned or discussed. It just kind of happened.
All right. So who made the first move? Was it Karma or was it Rob? Who made the?
It was me.
It was him. Okay, wait. Because we went to the New York trip. That was a big like step in our like relationship or whatever. Because on the New York trip, I was already kind of like, dang, like I think I kind of like him. Like I don't know, that's crazy. And then I was like in my head, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna ask him. I'm gonna see like if we could sit by each other on the bus. Like that's gonna be my big move. I'm gonna like really test the waters with that. And then we were on the phone doing our homework together, and he was like, "You sit by me on the bus," and I was just like, "Okay."
The New York trip was like, I guess when I was just I got tired of sitting on it and just not saying nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the New York trip was like, I guess like putting my foot in and just I guess testing the water. And see what was going to happen, and it went good. We a lot happened. You know what I'm saying? It was fun though.
That sound like suggestive. Nothing, a whole bunch happened. I think we held hands in New York for like a couple minutes, something like that. But also on the bus ride, I was like, I'm laying my head on his shoulder. That's gonna be like the big move. And he laid his head on my shoulder first, and then I was just like, oh my god, like it was so childish, but like I think that's what makes it like nice, I guess.
It was funny too because I remember like seeing her like sleep on my shoulder for the first time, and I had kind of pulled up the camera to just see what was she doing because we were talking and she fell asleep in the middle of a conversation. And y'all not, she sleep with her mouth open, and it was the funniest thing I ever seen. But it was cute though. It was cute, and the New York trip was definitely it brought me a lot closer to her, just talking about things that we didn't talk about before.
And we were
and
still
picking each
friends.
other's brains. Yeah.
It wasn't like we was all of a sudden dating. We was still very much friends, just like is there something there? Will we, won't we kind of vibe.
And
so y'all were still in high school.
Yeah.
Y'all were obviously really young. Well, y'all are still really young, but back then y'all was even younger. So when y'all finally did make it official, right? What did y'all parents think? Like, y'all had to tell y'all parents. What did y'all parents was like?
Okay, it's kind of tricky because my parents pretty strict. I'm their only daughter, and so you know that comes with the territory. It comes with the whole, this is my baby girl, I gotta protect her, like no guys, like that whole thing. And so what added a layer to it was that we both went to BADA over the summer over in Oxford.
Yeah.
And so before getting on the plane to go, my dad pulled me to the side and was like, remember what you're going for. And I wish you would play around. I wish you, like, don't you dare. And I was like, I know, like, I know. So the whole time in Oxford, we kind of like hanging out, becoming friends or whatever. Well, we were already friends, but, you know, just growing as friends. I'm kind of sitting there with this like voice in the back of my head, like, don't you dare. But I don't know. I think at Oxford, it just kind of like was like it was like a world away from the world. So like parents and all that stuff wasn't even like parents and school and everything wasn't factoring into it. We were just completely like immersed in like, you know, acting and like Shakespeare and like being there, and also just like seeing where we as friends were and like is it like, is this just us being away from home that's making us kind of feel this way? Or is
this actually something that's real?
Or is it something that's real?
Yeah.
Right.
So we didn't do anything or like make any type of like big moves till we got back home, and it was like, let's try and make this official because I still feel this way.
Right.
And so for the first few months, I like didn't tell my parents because I didn't want them thinking that I was off in Oxford just losing my mind. Like I complete, like, you know what I'm saying? I felt guilty for something I wasn't even guilty of. And so it took a minute, but once I told them, they were just like, I mean, as long, like the biggest thing to them is like respect. And I said, nobody else respects me like he does and cares about me the way he does. And once they heard that, they was on board. They're like, all right, like they still are such like, they're still so awkward about it. Like they're so like trying to figure out where to go, like what are the rules and like what is okay, what's not okay. But they're trying, and that's the biggest thing with me.
So like, how did it happen? Like you snitched on yourself, or you just came out one day and was like, I'm dating Rob? Like,
yeah, because my dad is such like a dad, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so I would be hanging out with other like people in my ensemble or other friends, and he'd be like, who is so-and-so? Is that your boyfriend? I'd be like, no. Knowing the whole time that Robert's my boyfriend. Not talking about Robert. He'd be talking about like my other friend, like Eric or somebody. He'd be like, Eric Cheney, I mean. He'd be like, is that your boyfriend? I'd be like, no. Or then he asked somebody else, like, oh, is that your boyfriend? I'd be like, no. I was just waiting for him to ask if Robert was my boyfriend or if I had a boyfriend. I would gladly ask. It was more of like a, when you ask me, I'll tell you type situation. And so one day, I think it was my birthday, Robert walked into the car and he got me some flowers. Yeah. And he was like, is Robert your boyfriend? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, you lied to me. I was like, I didn't lie. I was waiting for you to ask. I was like, I didn't lie. I was waiting for you to ask instead of accusing me. We had like a whole talk and everything like that. And he was just like, you know, as long as he respects you and as long as you're happy, like, yeah.
Right.
Oh. Yeah. That was like the biggest difference between like our parents, because like my mom and dad way more, I want to say like I think less strict is they super chill, super lax. So like even just raising me, it was they never really asked too many questions about much. They just let me figure my own way out. So when I told my mom and my dad that I was dating Karma, really wasn't a big conversation around it. I think my dad at first was just skeptical of who she was. And but once he met her, I mean, my dad loved Karma. Yeah. I mean, he asked about her all the time, every day. He called me a few minutes before we were actually starting to do this. He was just like, "What's she doing?" And I was like, "I'm with her right now, so we just call you later." And he was like, "Okay." And you know, when I told him, he just said, as long as she's a nice girl, she goal oriented, and
I didn't mean cut you off.
And she just focus, do what you do. But my parents are pretty chill. They're not like overbearing or like kind of strict. So it wasn't really that much to tell them. It was just like, hey, this is who I'm talking to. They like her, they love her, and so now it is what it is.
And it's been like 2 years and what, 9 months?
Yeah,
months?
Something like that.
It's going on 3 years. So like the relationship wasn't always just like, oh, be besties. It's it grew. And like
it was ups and downs, but
me and his parents have our own conversations. Him and my parents have their own conversations. It's like just building that relationship as well as our own.
And that was more of a family thing because like we've both been back and forth to each other's houses. So it's like I'm definitely so much more comfortable around her family than it was at the beginning. Right. And she's like super comfortable around mine. Right. And I just think those things grew over time because like we don't want to make it sound like it was automatic, like it just clicked and everything was like smooth sailing. No, we had to build trust with both sides ourselves. So like we would have conversations with I would have conversations with your parents, you would have some with my parents, just to build it up. And for me it was I want her mom and dad to know that her respect come first. And that is what I hold at the highest, and and after that, once we got to that understanding, everything's been cool. I love her family, so yeah, they cool with me.
Man, that's dope. All right, Rob.
Yeah,
every guy has to go through this at some point in a relationship. That talk with the father. Now I know with my past relationship, the talk I had with her dad, I almost, excuse my French mama, almost shit myself a couple times.
Yeah.
Talk. How was that for you? Did you have that same feeling, or was you like in there like I'm the man? Like how was it for you?
I think
be honest. Be honest.
I was a little intimidated, not because of her father, but because I know the perspective. You know what I mean? Like it's his only daughter. So I had to go in there with my A game, and so if it didn't go right, this could have been just totally different.
Right.
And I think talking to her dad over time, the relationship has grown to a place where her dad is a cool guy, super respectable guy, and I have nothing but respect for what he does.
Yeah.
And but I want to say the first talk I just remember like before, like just walking up to him, my stomach dropping to my feet, and then me just having to pick it back up. You know what I mean? Like me just having to pick it back up and get myself together because like, bro, like, cause you gotta earn, you know what I mean, that place. Because if you don't, I feel like that can create a strain, and a gap that really isn't wanted. And I definitely just made sure to show him that I respect him more than anything, and I hope nothing but the best for her. And after I showed him that, at that point you just gotta let the chips fall where they may.
Right.
And I've been grateful to build a good relationship with him, good rapport. And it's never a bad vibe. Never. Like even through the first conversation we had, it wasn't a bad vibe at all. Like he wasn't one of them guys that approached me. It was like, because how I can be.
He just
ain't trying to strong on you, but no, it was never like that. He's super cool, super respectful, and so I got nothing but love for him.
Man, that's dope. Man, Rob, you lucky. So that wasn't how never mind. So as artists, right? It's hard to, especially going to the school that y'all used to go to and the school that I go to. It's hard to balance your art and anything else. It's really hard. Y'all as teenagers were mature enough to balance y'all art, school, and a whole relationship, right? And y'all spoke on it a little bit. There was ups and downs, right? So take us on the little bit of the journey of the ups and downs and like where it got rough and where it got bumpy.
I think the biggest thing we try to implement into what we do is we work hard, then we play hard. It's not like a thing of like we try to play hard and work at the same time. No, we get what we gotta get out of the way first, so we can then focus with spend time and quality time with each other.
Like we were both in the acting program, both in theater, but Robert, he with his music full time, always in the studio, always writing, always producing, always helping somebody out with something musical.
As you should be.
Yes, sir. As he should. Look out for him. But it'll be times where I call him and I'm like really excited. I just want to talk to him. It's been a long day. I want to talk to him about my day. And I'm like,
nah,
hi.
Can't do it right now.
And he's like, yeah, what's up? I'm like, you in the studio? He's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, talk to you later. Like, it's just this understanding. Like, call him. I'm like, hey. He like, hey, I'm driving. All right, bye.
Yeah.
The same thing. Is the Wi-Fi messing up? Oh, nah. But it's the same thing, vice versa. Like sometimes he'll hit me up and like I won't even answer the phone, but I always send a quick text about like, hey, I'll get back to you when I can. Is it an emergency? Are you good? I'm doing this right now. I'll hit you back. I'm writing something right now. I'll hit you back. Yeah. And I think that's the main key. Like you can have a lot going on, but if you're not communicating that you have a lot going on, that's where the problem comes in. With like most relationships. Like most relationships don't fall apart because two people are too busy. It's because they busy and they're not communicating about their busyness or nothing like that. So then
to the other person, it creates like so what could you be doing?
Yeah, because there's like a seed of doubt in your head.
Yeah.
Like, so they went this many hours without talking to me. Like since it's us, like I'll wake up one morning and have like a creative spark and I'll be like, hey, I'll talk to you later. I'm like, I got something going right now. I want to keep it up or whatever.
Vice versa.
But it wasn't like always like that though. Like there were definitely times where I've been like, you've been gone for 6 hours, just MIA, off the grid. Like, are you okay? Like I'm never like mad. Like you didn't respond to my text. Like I'm your girlfriend. It's just more like, it's crazy world out there. I just want to make sure you're okay.
Yeah.
And so like establishing that line of communication.
Yeah. So nothing get misconstrued in between. But we definitely put work hard and then we play harder. It was never a thing and I think also being in the same department wasn't really a super hard challenge.
We know what's going on, right?
We were together most of the time, and we would work with each other too. So it wasn't like we would ever be like we don't know how the schedule is for one another. Now if we were in two different departments, then I could kind of be like, I don't know what you're doing, she don't know what I'm doing. But we were face to face most of the time, so it was
probably
like,
in the same scene most of the time.
So it was
which is weird, but like fun. But
it was never. I think our challenge came with like keeping how we felt about each other during the day we're supposed to be working, because we were playful. You know what I mean? So it's like I want to mess with her or do something with her, and she like, no, we in class. We can't do that.
I be on my professionalism. So, you will catch. Look over to me in the side of class. I'm just sitting there, my pen and pencil. I'm just like,
definitely way more lax than she is. So it was like she had to kind of be like, look, bro, we in class, we can't do nothing at all. And so it was like, but that was our biggest challenge. I think balancing this even now was something we do pretty well. We communicate all the time, and we work a lot. So we never want to take each other away from what the other person is doing.
Because I'm proud that he's busy, and I'm proud that he's doing stuff that he loves and like committing himself to that. Like I wouldn't ever want to take him away from that, and I don't think you would want to take me away from something that would make me happy and stuff. Right. So, like do what you got to do, and we gonna talk afterwards.
Because the long time is going to come. You know what I'm saying? Like people be like fishing for it and like trying to make it fit into a rigorous schedule. When you get it out the way, you can have more time than you thought you did when you were trying to fit it in, and you were already doing stuff.
Right, man, that's crazy. Y'all already got this joint figured out already. How old y'all? 19?
Yep, just turned 19. Both.
Man, it's 30-year-olds that don't got this joint figured out. Man, that's insane. Like the maturity is crazy, and I do think being in the same department helped. But at the same time, y'all was seeing each other literally all the time. So have y'all ever got tired of seeing each other? Like, bro, I don't want to see you. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
Because I think with me, I'm a person where I can get easily agitated with anything.
Right.
So I would know we've been around each other too long where she couldn't even be doing anything wrong. And I'm just like, I'm a little blown. I'm like, look here, bro, like cool out for a minute. And she couldn't be doing nothing. You know what I mean? So yeah, there were times when we was like, okay, bro, we spent a little too much time. Let's take a chill pill on each other and then come back.
Yeah.
Right.
And there was never no like verbal arguments or nothing, but it just be like we're all in the same room. And since like, you know, we talk, hey, you woke up, or like, you know, we talk in the morning, night, sometimes we're at the train together, most times at school we together, lunch we together, and everything like that. Sometimes it's just like
I need to
it's like, yo, did he really just sit there and like pull out his pencil out of his bag? Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
like small stuff just be like irritating you.
So it's like, you know, we definitely took our time to like get away and breathe.
Yeah.
Not out of bad intent or nothing like that. Just being like, you know what, we need to be away from each other just for a little bit, and then we could come back.
Yeah.
And the ball can get the rolling.
We were still like, you know, I'm saying we were still kids. We are still kids, high key. And so like, you know, I want to go hang out with my girls sometimes. He wants to go hang out with his friends sometimes. And that was fine. It was never really like, I think it was probably one point in senior year where it was just like we was with each other all the time because of rehearsals on top of school. And it was just kind of like, all right, you go to your other rehearsal, I'm gonna go to mine. And then after like an hour apart, we just be right back like, all right, I missed you. Like, what's up?
Yeah, and I think now because we got our own situations and we do work to the point that like of exhaustion, we talk to each other pretty often. Because we don't get as much time as we had in school. You know, I'm in my studio and it's my job now. She's doing what she's doing with school and acting, and it's something that she does full time too. So it's like when we're both working, so you know, just so hard at what we do, we got to make sure like we just text each other throughout the day. You know, so what's up? What you doing? You know, just certain messages like that, just so we don't lose each other. And I think now we definitely talk a lot more and appreciate when we do have time together.
Yeah, high key, heavy on that appreciation word, because at first it's easy to take something for granted when it's always there.
Yep.
When you got some space and you got time to miss it a little bit, that's when you realize like what you have right there. And so,
man, that's crazy. And COVID, y'all haven't been able to like I said before, like this is your first time seeing each other in a couple months, which is crazy. But yeah, COVID hit 2020, crazy, insane year. A lot happened, right?
Right.
We was March 13th. The quarantine announcement happened, right?
Right.
We thought it was going to be like a week, 2 weeks.
A little break.
Yeah, just a little break. They pushed our spring break to that whole week. We thought we was cooling. Then a week turned to 3 weeks. That 3 weeks turned to a month. That month ended up turning into now.
Bye. I'm triggered. Bye.
So how did COVID and like 2020 just as a whole have an effect on y'all relationship? Like not being able, well, y'all probably was still seeing each other, but not supposed to be seeing each other, right? Because we're supposed to be quarantined, and stuff like that. So how did that happen?
Let me tell y'all first how she the best girlfriend in the world. Look at it, peeve. I got COVID, right? I got COVID not too long ago.
Okay.
And I got it right around my birthday. She came up to she drove to my house.
Okay.
And she stood outside with like happy birthday signs and like all my favorite, like everything I like to eat. And like she just stood outside and like was holding it out.
I wasn't going inside.
No, she wasn't coming in, but she definitely put that. I mean, when I got COVID and she did that, I mean, it was crazy. Like, it definitely. I was like, oh, I don't know. The appreciation rose because she stood outside with a happy birthday and she's the best in the world.
That's real. That's love. That just warmed my. That's amazing, man. But COVID 2020.
So something. I mean, it just reminds me of like experiences that most, high school couples get to have that we kind of didn't. A lot of that was in the last few months of high school, like my whole life, I've been so excited for prom. Like, I don't know. I'm not even somebody who dresses up often or anything like that. And so I was really excited to like find the right dress, match colors. I wanted to come down the stairs and just have him be like, oh my God, you look beautiful. I wanted the promposal. I wanted it all.
Mm-hmm.
All of that was gone. And like with the
couple weeks,
within a matter of like an email, no, prom's canceled. This is gone. That's gone. And so I don't know. It just.
And you were pretty upset about that. Super upset.
I'm still upset. It's a whole year later. It's a whole year later, and I'd be like, "Dang, today would have been the day last year that I was getting my hair done." And like, "Dang, I would have been getting the final like fittings for my dress today." But that's it. But like, I don't know. It just COVID was crazy because we went from seeing each other every single day to then at one point we hadn't seen each other in like 3 months.
Yeah, and I think it was just like a lot of it caused us not seeing each other. Well, you know how early in the virus, nobody kind of knew what was going on. So it was like, we're not about to see each other and really not know, you know, how was this getting transmitted? How can we stop it? And I think once we came up with a game plan to be like, okay, we can only be around each other if we do leave the house.
Right.
And that's when it became like, okay, we can start seeing each other because like it'll make sense. We're the only people we're seeing.
Right.
So when we made it that, I'm saying that meaning outside of our like immediate family, we're the only people we're seeing. We made it like that. I think we got so much more comfortable and like, and it was a lot safer. So we were free to do what we wanted to.
We were both getting pretty frequent COVID tests and stuff.
Yeah, all the time.
Because he has a newborn baby in his family, so he was already getting COVID tests at some point so that he could be around the baby.
Congratulations.
So knowing, what'd you say?
Say congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
And so, like, I don't know. My family, we were taking COVID and everything so serious.
Yeah.
You get the groceries, leave the groceries in the garage for a day. Then you wipe them down with the Clorox wipes and the Lysol. Then you put them in the pantry. We would take your shoes up at the door, spray the bottoms of the shoes.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to put on 2 masks when you leave the house. So, like, we were already pretty, like, we was just in here. It was just a bubble. And so he getting tested. I'm not going nowhere. My family not going nowhere. Right. We knew we could like interact and be safe about it. I think the first time we saw each other, we had last year was in June.
Yeah.
We had a picnic down Haynes Point, and we were like we were like, okay, you bring your blanket, I'm gonna bring my blanket. We'll stay on like the respective blankets, like 12 feet apart.
Didn't happen.
We saw each other hug,
all
hands.
Yeah.
Like
all that flew out the window.
All that went out the window.
Over.
And then it was just weird because like you said, like you've seen each other, but you're not supposed to be seeing each other. So it's that like that guilt and like that kind of constant anxiety. Luckily, we both fully vaccinated now, so we don't have to worry about that no more.
Great.
But it definitely, I just think that, you know, I'm glad we made it through or whatever, because a lot of people, you know, breaking up, like a lot of marriages ending and stuff like that. Because when you either stuck with somebody for a whole year and some change, or you can't even see that person for a whole year and some change, it's bound to like take a toll on a relationship. Yeah,
but we made it work, and I think now that we know, and I think this is a world thing too. Now that you kind of know how it works, how to protect yourself. Once you got to that point and did a lot of research for each other, then we was like, okay, we know what to do. We got a solid game plan, and then like let's make it happen. And I also think building a friendship, and I just want to go back up, building a great friendship, it definitely played a part in us not really losing interest in each other because we were friends first. It's not like we just jumped in and it was what it was.
Yes. All right.
We were friends first. It's not like we just jumped in into something and then, you know what I mean? So we had a bond first as great friends that kind of carried us this whole way through to where we are now.
Oh man. This is beautiful, man. If this is not goals, I don't know what is.
But I'm scared. I don't want it to sound like a boring couple. Like it's just like it's not just, you know, sunshine and rainbows. It hasn't always been.
No.
But I don't know. I don't want you to think we faking and nothing like.
Yeah, I just think we know how to maneuver.
Right.
Maneuver through our problems. Pretty well.
Yeah.
But we had to not maneuver through things to order to gain those skills. You know what I mean? So like it was definitely like with certain things where I feel like I'm not good with talking to people about anything, and she's not. The same thing with her. So it's like we used to have to pull information out of each other's teeth just to know how the one person feels about the other and stuff like that. But through those things, I'm thankful for it now, just because like we know how to talk to each other about things. But yeah, no, in the beginning when it came to problems, how we were feeling, and not even something that was in relation to the relationship, just period. It was just like, yeah, like we had to battle with each other. I had to fight to get her to tell me something, and she had to do the same for me, vice versa.
Right. But I think that's what like a lot of people and a lot of couples though. Like I've heard that. I heard a lot of stories about that. And I think that's because of, even though like I trust you, I don't really trust you. Right? There's a difference. There's a difference. But when you gain that like trust, like, okay, like I'm okay with just telling you if I had a bad day. I'm okay if I'm telling you that I'm just mad. It might be over something stupid. It might be my fault, but I'm still mad, and I'm telling you, and you better agree with me that it's not my fault, even though it's mine. Right.
Better not say it's my fault either.
It's the principle, and I feel like once you get that and once you understand that, then something like y'all have. I'm just surprised that y'all found that out really young. Because like I said, a lot of marriages did stop. A lot of relationships did come to an end because of COVID. But y'all just kept it pushing. Yeah. But y'all went from seeing each other every day to not seeing each other at all. So emotionally, right? Just not being like, again, not being able to hug, probably being on FaceTime, but being like, I want to be there. I don't want to be there. So emotionally, right? How was that like COVID with y'all emotionally as a relationship?
Who you want to go first? You want me to go first?
I mean, I could just say that like it was hard because not only were we not seeing each other, but like we weren't seeing our families really. We're not seeing our friends. We don't know what's going on with school, our teachers. Like it was just like the world stopped, but it didn't. And so it was like everything's paused, but life is still going. So it's like I just was already in a place of like, I remember at one point, it was especially during last year in June when everything was going on, like everything was really getting heightened with the Black Lives Matter movement. You know, I'm on my social media seeing terrible things. I can't go to like, you know, my cousin's house or my friend's house or Robert's house or like, you know, I just can't see anybody. I remember telling him like, I just need some love right now. Like I just need just like a hug or like, I don't know. I just really, really missed him because he is like my best friend. Like, and so I don't know. It was hard. And I was really sad most days. And like, you know, FaceTime, thank God for FaceTime, but I wanted to like see his face and like see him and like, but we couldn't. And so it was just emotionally, it was a really rough time all around.
And those were times I got super frustrated. I'm a very touchy-feely person. Like that's my love.
That's his love language.
So talking on FaceTime all the time was kind of agitating because I'd be like, I don't want to talk to you. Not because I don't want to talk to you, because you're physically not here. It's making me angry that I can't you know, just walk up to you, give you a hug, and your face tell you about how my day is going, and you know, you tell me about yours, and that made me really frustrated. And we had arguments about that because you know I would be kind of mean, and so it was like, you know what I mean, but just because I can't see you, and it would throw me off so much because I was so used to seeing her all the time, and like I said, I'm a person where I gotta touch you, I gotta be able to hug you, and I gotta be able to just be all on you, and that wasn't happening no more.
Right.
So I think it affected me. It just made me super angry.
You weren't mean. Like I don't want y'all thinking he was in here talking wild. He's grumpy. He likes to act all tough and like, oh, I'm strong. I'm this like big man. He's a big softie. And so when he said to me, he was pouting, and I'd be like, "What's with your attitude? Like, talk to me." He's like, "I can't see you. I want to see you. See." It's just like, all right. Like, all right, like.
But y'all worked through it and y'all got through it, and now y'all are together and touchy-feely. So Rob, you get what you want. Karma, you get what you want. which is amazing, right? So trials and tribulations, everybody goes through them. Arguments, Lord Jesus, don't every relationship goes through it. So what is like, I don't want to say the worst, but what's like the most pettiest thing y'all argued about? Like the dumbest thing, like it shouldn't even been an argument for real.
It's a lot of dumb things.
Yeah.
We don't really argue bad ever. It'll just be like today we was arguing about what? I was like, it started off as a fake argument where I'm just like, yeah, get off pause. Like, just talking to talk. And then he says, it was just something goofy. It was just the dumbest thing. And we were just talking about that. Then all of a sudden we was like, all right, this is dumb. Come on now. Like, are you on your way? Yeah, okay, yeah. But what's the dumbest thing we've argued over?
So one thing that's like a pet peeve of mine when it comes to being FaceTime and stuff like that. Like I used to watch TikToks and like I used to watch these cheesy TikToks where people be like, oh, you want a fried? I feed you through the FaceTime screen. Let me tell you something. Look here, Slim. It's nothing that obsesses me more than you trying to feed me through. Don't do that. I feel like you playing with me. There'll be times where she was thinking it was funny, and I would really get mad. Like I would really be like, "Yo, come on, what are you doing? You grown. Like you're grown. You don't have no business to be told to. You want to fry?
Because look,
you want this, you want that. And she know I don't like it though. She know I don't like it. It makes me mad. It makes me bore you.
Okay, I was in the Wendy's parking lot, right? I got some Wendy's, I got some fries, right? And Robert, he hates them couples that be like, you want a cookie? And they be acting like they're eating through the screen or whatever. Right. So he was doing something, he was teasing me about something, right? So all of a sudden I was like, be quiet. And I was acting like I was giving him a fry. And he just it's like last week, he got so mad. He's like, don't play with me like that. He's just like mad. He's like, that's just childish. We're grown. And I'm sitting here cracking up laughing. I start choking on the French fry alone in this Wendy's parking lot. I could die and no one would know but him. And he probably gonna be mad, talking about something. Well, she shouldn't have died. She shouldn't have playing around with that French fry. It was just a mess all around. He mad because I'm laughing at him. Then he laughing at himself. Like it was the dumbest thing. And I just was crying laughing.
Yeah, stuff like that infuriates me. But she know it, and that's why she do it. It's not like she don't know. Yeah, it's not like she don't know. She do it because she want to see me get riled up because she enjoys that.
Sometimes.
He said you grown.
I don't understand. We about like we 19. We're gonna be 20 next year. You don't have no business trying to feed me a fry through a FaceTime screen. What are you doing? You know what I'm saying?
You wanted one. Like, I just was trying to.
How logically, like, how does that work? Why would you stick some salt and a potato to a camera and think I'm gonna eat it?
You see, now you think it's too hard.
Y'all give me flashbacks.
He said, "We are grown. You are grown." Oh, that's hilarious. That's a clip. I'm using that for the trailer. That's a clip. But wow, this is great. As a young couple, right? Wait, hold on. Before I even go through that, have y'all ever like asked like y'all parents or like just not even doesn't even have to be our parents, just like an older couple like for advice before, like relationship advice?
I don't think so. A lot of old couples, we interact with a lot of old couples though. Not like people we know, but like we'll be in Safeway. I remember one time we were in Safeway in Georgetown, just holding hands, walking, and this old man comes up to us and it's like, "That's beautiful. I don't see that anymore. That's beautiful."
Yeah.
And I was just like, "Oh, like thank you. Like that warms my heart." And like old people, well, not old people. That sounds rude, but like. I don't know. Older people are always like kind of going like to us. I don't know what that's about. We haven't gone to anybody for advice, so to say, but
we can. It's trial and error. The best way I can put it is trial and error. We figure it out.
Biggest mistakes, I swear, the biggest mistakes be going to people our age for advice.
Yeah,
for sure.
No, don't do that.
Because then it just be a mess. Then it just, I don't know. That's a big lesson I think we both learned. Like, our relationship is between us, not us and these people, not us and her and us and him and us and them. It's us, and trying to go to other people for advice and other people knowing what's going on and stuff just gets
it gets messy.
Yeah.
Cause y'all don't know what y'all doing. Then y'all go to other people that definitely don't know what they doing.
Yeah, come on now.
Cause they not even in a relationship to know what they doing.
When we don't know what's going on, we like having like a problem or something like that. We not butting heads because we want to hurt each other. We butting heads because we both want whatever is best. We just don't know what that is. Yeah. Other people, when they see button heads, they just think, oh, this is interesting. They're not looking out for the solution or what we want or like what's best or like how to fix it. They just want something to talk about. And so learning that, we the only ones that want the best for us and to keep it between us when we going through stuff was a big
lesson learned.
Big lesson learned.
Right. The way I saying that was like y'all relationship in jeopardy going to like somebody else for advice or something? Because the way I saying lesson learned is
I just think
not in jeopardy.
I just sometimes going. It's better if you just figure a situation out on your own. You know what I mean? Like let's because your friends can really sometimes have the best intentions for you, but you don't want to. Not everything should be known to your friends either. You know what I mean? Like it's things that she's told me that I'm not about to tell to somebody else, but you might have to say those things to give them perspective on how to help your situation out. So, I just think with stuff like that, we're tossing information to people, not because they were the wrong people, but just because how do you know that she wanted that information to fall with another set of ears? Right. You know what I mean? There's just stuff like that. It was just like, you know what, let's just figure it out ourselves and just get through it and just trial and error and figure it out. And we're going to get to a solution. You know what I mean? And I think, a lot of what can be button head sometimes or not coming to a resolution is you're fighting to get your thoughts across to the other person, and they're fighting to get theirs to you.
Because people want to be understood. At the heart of it, you just want to be understood. Other people don't want to understand; they just want to know.
Right. And then and it wasn't as cut and dry as like I got to be right and you got to be wrong. So it was like people would think that, and it's like no, that's not really what it is. So I just don't think bringing it to other people did us justice. I just think sitting down with each other and having uncomfortable conversations is what what made a better outcome.
Yeah.
Right. But what you just said just made me think of something. You was like, she has her side and you have your side and y'all just want understanding, right? That just reminded me just of a scene. Like basically y'all are just in a scene.
That's all it is.
High key. I really think that both of us being actors helps our communication and understanding of problems and like our conflict resolution or whatever. Because since we both sitting there analyzing scenes and we both seen like and it's funny because sometimes we'll be in a scene together and the characters are going through the exact same thing we going through. And like it could all be so easy because you got the solution written out on the page for you.
Right.
But I'm just stubborn and he's stubborn. So which one of us is gonna crack first and just be like, all right, look, this is what it is. But
y'all both know.
Yeah. Both of us being actors definitely, I think, is helpful.
Yeah.
Because we're able to step outside of ourselves and go to that place of empathy and understanding that you're not my enemy. We both want what's best.
Right.
We just gotta really listen to each other.
And that's like one of the first things that I learned in the theater department is that you have to understand the other person's point of view.
Yeah.
Like your character, you're going to understand your character because that's your character, right? You have no other choice but to understand them. But understanding the other person is where the difficulty comes in. That's where the challenge comes in. Understanding what you're saying, right? This has been great. I've learned a lot. I hope y'all tuning in to the ArtsBlock podcast learned a lot. I'm gonna try to apply this if I find someone. Hey, if this is any girls looking at this joint, look, I'm single. Y'all see me.
Look what you did. He has a whole podcast. He's established, committed to his art. Come on, what are y'all sleeping on?
Hey, come on, y'all see me. But if there's any, but y'all are the older couple right now, right? Remember we was talking about the older couple getting the advice. Y'all are them, right? There's a younger couple out there. They struggling. They going through it. What is something that y'all would tell them right now, in this very moment?
You want to go first?
No, you go first. I'm still trying to think.
Go first. I think the biggest piece of advice: choose love. And like when I say that, I mean it's not. People are complex. People have different layers and different backgrounds and like different, people are who they are for a multitude of reasons.
Right.
You have to love every single one of those reasons along with the person that you're loving. You know what I'm saying? Like, it'll be times where Robert will do something and it'll just like, it won't make sense to me, or like I'll be hurt by it. And like one of those times where like we bumping heads because we both want the same thing, but just both disagree on how to get there.
Right.
And rather than choosing pride or choosing my own stubbornness or choosing to hold a grudge or choosing to go find other people or choosing to give up, you got to choose love. And like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to kind of choose love. Like, it's kind of like an active choice. It can't just be passive. It can't just be, we'll figure it out. I love him. It has to be, I love him. So what am I going to do about this? Like, how are we going to fix this?
Message.
And the second piece of advice my mama told me, if you are young, y'all don't have no bills, y'all don't have no kids to worry about, y'all don't have no taxes or nothing to worry about, no type of insurances to worry about,
What you stressing for?
and y'all still arguing, go ahead and give it up. Because sometimes communication can be spotty, but if y'all always arguing and y'all are kids,
if it's not meant to be, it's not. You young, bro. I think, that's really what I wanted to touch on. Unless you going out with intentions to make something long term, like I think like because every relationship is with us, we walked in with the intentions to have a long term relationship. This wasn't something that was just like we talk about the long game. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you young. You know what I mean? If it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. But also, if it is, you're gonna find your way back. You know what I mean? But I think people will try to lose just a big portion of themselves in sacrifice of the relationship.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, bro. You got to help you before you can help somebody else.
Yeah.
You got to help you can help somebody else. If it's so one advice that I will give you young, do not strain yourself trying to fix something that you can. I mean, like we young, we don't got no work. I mean, well now we got bills that we pay, but I mean, like you know what I'm saying? Like when you young, you didn't
be young
and just enjoy that, because when it's over, it's over. I'm feeling that now. When it's over, you got to pay for stuff.
Yeah, just number one, don't try to make a home out of a human being.
Nope.
Human beings are inconsistent and unstable. I call him my home a lot because I find comfort in him, but I'm not about to stake my whole happiness or self-love or self-worth or anything in him. And then like he was saying, if you young, just be young. Even though we talk about long-term stuff a lot, we didn't walk into this saying, all right, we're in this for the next 3 to 5 years, sign the contract.
Yeah, no.
We just take it day by day. Just be young, choose love. Don't make a home out of other people, or don't strain yourself trying to have a relationship. Like I said, be young. Communicate.
Man,
message.
Y'all need to write a book. I swear to God. I need to write a book. Thank y'all so much for coming on the podcast. It's been an honor. This has been long overdue. Karma, you know how long we've been trying to. You know how long we've been trying to schedule this jump.
Not for real.
Yeah. But y'all are artists at the end of the day, so I will love to get y'all dead or alive. Now, everybody that's tuning in to the ArtsBlock podcast, hello. I'm your wonderful, beautiful, melanated host, Eric Curry III. And if this is your first time watching the ArtsBlock podcast, hello. If this is your last time watching the ArtsBlock podcast, well, goodbye. But Dead or Alive is basically a segment where the artist on the podcast gets to choose artists that they would like to work with that is dead or alive. You can choose one artist. You can choose 100 artists. Please don't choose 100 artists because I still have to edit this podcast. Yeah, go ahead. Dead or Alive. This is all y'all.
Artists we like to work with. When you're saying this, are you saying like in our respective field or like what?
In anything. In anything.
Dead or alive. I think an artist that I would like to work with, but it's very hard to work with this person. Musically growing up, Jay-Z was my end all be all. As a, I would dress up like him in the mirror and try to like sing his songs word for word. So if I ever got the chance to work with him, it would be something like it'll be a personal step up. You know what I'm saying? Just because like as like with anything, he inspired me to step into acting and to step in to music, because even though he wasn't an actor, he made a lot of opportunities with his film company and just seeing where you go and seeing somebody that looked like me and come from the environment that I come from, turn that bad situation into a good one. I just think as a kid, he was like the poster child, definitely, on the South Side where I grew up, to what you could be, everything you can be. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's definitely a person I would really love to work with because it's super personal.
All right. So somebody that I would love to work with is Nina Simone, because she's like my favorite artist of all time, because you can just hear everything she was feeling at the time she sang a song on, like listening to Everything Must Change by Nina Simone takes you to somehow the exact spot she was in without knowing what spot she was in. There's such a specificity in her music that leads to a universality, and like it pierces through somebody when they listen to her. She's just like incredible. I love her so much. In Alive, I would love to work with SZA or J. Cole. I just love them, and I know they're not actors, but we could just chill, talk about art for real. We don't have to talk about acting, nothing like that, or writing. We can just hang out, and also Issa Rae, because that's what I want to do. I want to be able to direct, write, and be in it. And so yeah, those are my Dead or Alive.
You heard a new Cole album?
Oh my God! Don't even get me started on Hunger on Hillside. Been on repeat.
Okay, we got
one more thing. For an artist that isn't here anymore, I would like to work with it was a very, very talented just producer, DJ, everything. His name was Jay Dilla. He passed away. He passed away in the early 2000s. But I'm pretty sure, you know what I'm saying. You know of Jay Dilla, obviously. One thing that got me turned on to him and really made me want to work with him, and this was before I found he had passed, was his album Donuts. And like now that I'm older and I realized that it was about him settling with the fact that he was about to die, and he made that an album, and then he made the album in his hospital bed. Yeah, I think like that was just like, that's talent on a whole nother level, and that's a person that's not here now that I would really love to work with.
Man, Dilla, man, that took me off. Dilla is a beast. A beast.
And if anybody has not heard Donuts, that's in this whole that's in the podcast right now, listen, I promise you will not regret it.
One of the greatest everything ever to ever do it.
Yeah,
definitely one of the greatest producers to ever do it. His beat
easily.
But thank y'all so much for coming on. We've been scheduling this, but this finally happened. I like to thank y'all, and I also like to thank y'all watching the ArtsBlock podcast. Again, my name is Eric Curry III. You can follow me on Instagram at Eric Curry III. You can follow the podcast at ArtsBlock Podcast. All of Karma and Rob's Instagrams and stuff will be linked in the bio. If you are watching this on YouTube, make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe, make sure you turn on post notifications so you can be notified every time we post a podcast. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, make sure you give me a 5-star and a review. If you're listening anywhere else, shout out to you. Remember that artists never die. And I'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Thank you.